What is up, my bubbly boys? In our video, and today we are doing a pure Latron deck profile. So I'm really excited to bring you guys this because as you already know, this deck is pretty much a staple on the channel. It's my favorite deck of all time, and I'm really excited to bring you this because now Barone, Savage, and some of them are banned, so we are able to push through boards pretty easily now, and now we are able to also not have to suffer under summon limit, and we are also as well able to Nibiru our opponent with ease without having to worry as much. Unless it's about Appaloosa, but that's a whole different story. This deck is really nice now because it's able to push through a lot of interruptions that your opponent does with, and it has a lot of extenders too. So there's not really a good place for your opponent to hit you. And even if they do end up like Nibiruing you or something, you just break their board back with the amount of hand traps and non-engine you have, and it's just set up your board next turn. So this deck is really nice. I really like this deck. Before we get started with the deck profile, I am running a couple of spice cards in the deck, and spicy TECHS. So stay tuned for that. And before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed already, please consider. I really appreciate it. And without further ado, I won't waste any more of your time. Here we go. Alrighty, for the starters, we are running 3 Lila. Lila is pretty standard because she is the best girl and she is the best normal summon because she's able to summon out your key skill from the deck, your key skill Frost to be exact. Key skill Frost is able to summon, not summon. Key skill Frost lets you draw a card in your opponent's turn if they add a card from deck to hand. So really nice. It lets you get into more of your non-engine or even for some follow-up if you need it anyways. And plus it's just card advantage, free card advantage. Next we have play 3 key skill. This is our other starter of the deck. This one is not as good, but I still run it at 3 because it's really good for the grind game. And we are running Pot of Desire, so we don't want to banish too many of our live twin monsters and run out of gas for the grind game. Because this is more of a control deck more than anything. It's not more of a combo deck. It's not more of an OTK deck. It's pretty mid-range to control deck. So you really want to manage your resources and keep up with your opponent's resources as well. So 3 key skills pretty mandatory. Plus she's another starter. Keeps consistency of the deck to a high. And of course we are running 2 Frost for the extenders. And then 1 Treat. 1 Treat just because you really have to because you're running 3 key skills. So if you end up having key skill as your only starter and you use key skills effect to summon Lila from deck, but if you get impermed or something like that, you just go ahead and grab the treat from your deck with like a Sunny Snitch or something, and then you're able to go ahead and extend through that. And this also helps if your Link monster gets impermed as well or negated. So this helps really nice for extending. And its secondary effect does come up, just not as often as Keystone Frost, but this second effect does come up a pretty good amount. So next we are running 3 Sunny Snitch. This card is a god card. Basically helps you in time. Whenever your opponent summons a monster, which I always forget to remind my opponent about, but that's okay. You gain 200 life points and you lose, and their opponent loses 200 life points. So really nice in time. And so if you're trying to stall for time, please don't do that. This helps you also as a starter, and also really good extender, getting you to your extenders. Next to Secret Password, this is also somewhat of a starter / extender. This one can grab you either Sunny Snitch or it can either grab you also Home, which I am running 2 copies of. Home is also another starter / extender. Really nice for the grind game, especially if you want something from deck. And I don't like the discard effects. That's why I'm only running at 2. I may run at 1 in the future and keep it at like a 40 card deck with 12 starters. But overall, we are running 13 starters, so I think this is enough, and I think I like Home, just for another extender, because you don't want to just open up 1 starter and just have that as your only way of playing. The ideal hand is starter, extender, and then 3 non-engine. So with these ratios, I feel like that is a pretty easy hand to get overall. So next for the non-engine, I'm going to go into hand traps first. 3 Ash. 3 Ash is pretty mandatory. We have a lot of branded out of locals, so that's why I'm running 3 Ash. It's pretty good against Snake Eye too if you Ash to Bonfire. And yeah, it's just pretty generic card overall. It hits also Labyrinth, which Labyrinth is kind of a tough matchup for this deck too. So really nice against that. Three Veiler. Three Veiler is really good to draw on your opponent's turn. It's not once per turn, so if you draw multiples of this, that is actually really okay because it is not once per turn. And if you draw this onto your opponent's turn, it's just so nice. 2 Imperm. Reason I'm running 2 Imperm is because if you draw this on your opponent's turn with either Key Skill Frost or your Link Monster Key Skill, you don't get the you won't be able to use it because you already control cards. So it's a good going second card, but I just don't really want to draw into it when on my opponent's turn, and then that'll be just a dead card in hand, basically. So that's why I'm running 2. Same thing with same thing with Mourner. Mourner is really good to draw on your opponent's turn. But it's just once per turn, so you don't want to draw multiples of this. So that's why I'm running only 2 copies of this. Really, really good in time though. 3 Nibiru, the god card of the deck, the literal god card of the deck. This has won me so many games. This carried games alone. It's just such a big body. It clears your opponent's board. If they break your board, you just have Nibiru in hand. You're set. And even if you like go first, and you just set up like a Trouble Sunny, it's okay because you just activate the Trouble Sunny's effect, tribute yourself first, that's Chainlink 1, and then Chainlink 2 Nibiru, clear your opponent's board, and then just summon it back your 2 twins, pop the token. So it's just so nice. It clears your opponent's board, it opens up game-ending shots. It's just so insane. This deck would not, like, literally, if there was a god card, like, this is literally a god card for this deck, literally. I don't recommend siding this or even cutting this card at all. Such a good card. Such a good card. For matchups, it doesn't come up. For like matchups that doesn't come up with the Nibiru is like Labyrinth and stuff like that. It's still okay, like as a discard for maybe home or something like that, or just maybe it it never really hurt me for like matchups that it didn't come up in. So I just mostly sided it out. But it like we have so many other non-engine that's like not really situational. So it's just like Nibiru is just like having Nibiru as like the more situational card is just it's like okay in my opinion, but it's not more. Alrighty, so for more non-engine, that was the last of the hand traps. Now we have 2 trip attack as talent and 1 called by. I don't like cross out now, especially because it's only good going first. It's terrible going second, and I just feel like you're able to extend your opponent's plays enough that you don't really need cross out. The only thing you may want cross out for is Nibiru, but like you already have enough non-engine that could maybe stop your opponent's plays from actually breaking your board. And with the spice tech that I'm actually playing instead of cross out, I think it's just good enough that you don't need to play these cards in that cross out in the deck. So I think 2 talents and 1 call by is just good enough. And since you're not playing a fire deck, since this is not a fire deck, you're free to run call by and just break the board by just banishing something like Promethean Princess, Garunix, etc. Or even like a Flamberge that they have extra, so that way they can't use its effect to bring out the Masquerena, and also has this effect to summon 2 from grave when it's sent to graveyard. So really nice. It's called by so good. 3 Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires is really good because it gets you a lot of card advantage. And you don't want to draw into multiples of these, and you don't want to go activate Pot of Desires to draw into another Pot of Desires and then one other card. So that's why, and you don't want to see multiple of these either. So that's why I'm running a 41 card deck. And as well, you don't want to banish Parallel Seed. Parallel Seed is literally so good for this deck because it lets you go into Baguska. And Baguska is literally, you just sit on Baguska with Trouble Sunny, you're set. And since all your monsters are Link monsters, they're unaffected by Baguska. So Parallel Seed really nice, and you don't want to banish like 2 Parallel Seeds and then draw into another Parallel Seed, and then have them 2 banished. That way you can't even use the Parallel Seed. So that's why I'm running a 41 card deck to minimize those flaws. You can run it at 42 if you want, and there's running like maybe a couple more starters or maybe more hand traps. I really don't want to brick or like not see any starters in my hand. so that's why I'm only running 41. And then the spicy tech card of the deck, 3 Super Poly. I felt like Super Poly was a good call because not only does this help you break boards, it's really good going first too. For it's just like another thing for your opponent to worry about, and is also just we have enough like we have enough extra deck room for to run this card. Um, this literally only took 3 slots on my extra deck. That was definitely a really good call because this broke a lot of boards. This also helped me going first as well to put extra pressure, and this also helped me like just in case if I didn't draw any onto my starters, I just set this and then pass, and then whatever else I had in my hand, it just they just had to pass back, and by the time I got my cards, I was set. I was literally set. So just a really good card overall. Definitely like I'm liking this format honestly. And since your opponent isn't able to respond to this, they just have to deal with it and just and then you're able to get something maybe like Garura, and then Garura gets basically lets you get an extra draw to, into anything else you need as well. Two, and now for the extract, two key skill for key skill. I was about to say key skill Ross for no reason. Two key skill. And two Lala. I feel like you don't need more than this. I was running 3 key skill last format before the ban list, but I feel like you really only need 2 now because you have so many other link monsters you go into. Plus, you also have the option to go into Muckraker, which I don't have at the moment. But once I get Muckraker in the mail, once my Muckraker arrives, I'm definitely gonna run Muckraker in the deck. What I will replace? Okay, so 3 Trouble Sunny. I'll go to what I'm gonna replace for Muckraker in a bit. So 3 Trouble Sunny. This is pretty mandatory because you mostly go into all 3 every single game. And 1 Lingeribo. This is good against trap decks. Chance Code Talker. This is what I will replace for a Muckraker. But this is also opens up very good OTK lines. But I just feel like the Unchained line is a bit better because it also sets like if you're not able to attack for game, you still set up a nice board of Abomination with your Trouble Sunny, which is able to pop at least 2 or 3 cards as well. And then plus in the end phase, you just pop another card, which is so nice. 1 Unicorn 2, and then for the Super Poly targets, I have 1 Mud Dragon, Draco Stapelia for the branded matchup, and then Garura for just generic, and it just gives you an extra draw anyways. And then the last card is just 1 Baguska. I'm not running the Zeus package, which I don't really find it going like I don't really find myself going into it that often. I just feel like there's other plays they could do better than the like a Zeus line. So that's why I'm not running the Zeus package in this deck. And plus it takes up a lot of space in the deck. Like you can like if you want to run the Zeus package, just cut Super Poly for like more hand drops and then just run. Or if you want to cut Super Poly for like cross out, you can. But I just feel like Super Poly is way better than the Zeus package, and it also opens up more OTK potential as well. Yeah, so just really love that card, and that is it, my blue boys. That is it for today's deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.